one of the favourites in this year's Crazyhouse World Championship, up against PepsiNGaming in round 4. And Pawn and Training, are you able to join us for commentary? Or just listening in? Oh, that'd be amazing. And
maybe both.
Hi there. So what do we see so far? We see e4 from PepsiNGaming and e4, e5. So it's a sort of... So catask is like playing the French defense without e6 in a way. It looks like opening theory, but with this sort of f3 idea, but weird, like moving from bishop f5 and then moving back to bishop d7. Interesting. So going to bishop f5, it gets hit, so he moves back to bishop d7, then he's happy to leave the knight there and get a pawn and say he's created a weakness in white's camp. And then I think g3 has to be wrong, but that's just my feeling. What's the idea of g3? Oh, he was trying to defend the knight. Yeah. His knight was hanging. Okay. So what do you think? I mean, I feel white's kingside is very holy.
Task might be thinking about ways to set up a sacrifice.
Yeah,
yep,
exactly. How can you get pawns? Exactly, because what he wants is pawn at queen takes knight, something at g2 and something at f2, something like this. So catask.
I mean, that's the idea, but catask is good enough to calculate all of this. I don't see anything. Oh wow, bishop. Is he gonna go for bishop f2? Is he gonna give the
2 pieces?
Give the material to get the queen? Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Or is he going to go bishop f5?
Or maybe bishop c5. Okay.
Bishop c5. That's my notation. Bishop c5, and then try and... Oof. Yeah, I think d1 was a mistake. Easy to say that now.
I think this all goes back to.
But
I think it all goes to just catask punishing the knight at the knight h4 move. The knight was misplaced, and
yeah,
white, created weaknesses that were able to be exploited.
indeed. I think seemed to have glitchy internet, so just sort of went straight to move 10 in game 2. So interesting. Pepsi goes knight takes when, of course, pawn takes would be natural, but I guess d5 pawn is hanging, which is why he goes knight takes. He'd want to go pawn takes, open up his bishop, but then his pawn hangs, so he has to go knight takes, and he's developing his bishop on g7 instead. Oh, this is already uncomfortable.
This is going to be a problem.
This is a problem, exactly. Pawn mates. Okay, so he moves the rook to give his king h8, but now he's going to get a rook. I mean, just pawn g6, knight f7 might even be...
Pawn g6 is... yeah, pawn at g6 is crushing.
Unless he wants to keep that square for a knight at some point. Pawn g6 looks good. Yeah, pawn g6, king h8, then knight f7, rook takes, pawn takes. It was one idea, and you have a rook in hand. So it's an idea, but maybe he's got a better idea. Like, maybe even something bishop f5, but then, yeah, no. Trying to calculate something. I'm not seeing it just yet, obviously. What's the most precise way of going? But one of the problems you can't... Yeah.
You could try h4 here, but it's... But I think pawn at g6 is probably the most. h4 looks interesting too.
I'm getting a weird glitch in my board. Let's try and reload. Well, he's burning a lot of time. Did the cat jump on the keyboard, says Mugwort in the Lichess chat.
A similar idea, but a little bit quicker. If white takes it, h4 comes.
Okay, so after this, at g5. That's a surprise.
He wants to open the G file. He's probably gonna play h4 here. Yeah. I thought that he might go h4 before, but this probably better. The 2900 player for a reason.
I don't know. I think something simple was good. Just at g6, knight f7, takes. Okay, his knight defends everything, but we're just into his position. I think just simple. I think that's simple and effective. But sure, he wants. This also looks strong. But it's giving black time to defend f7. I think like
You
at
might
a
want the second.
yeah. Sorry. Like what about bishop e8 or something? Just trying to
White,
defend.
you know, White was going after the knight to make pawn at g6 that much nastier, but this is still pretty ugly. That's why Black played knight at h8 was to defend f7.
Yep.
So probably resignable here.
Yeah. Queen h5 is nice, but at queen h5 now maybe. Yep.
Yep. It's mate.
Mate in one. So 2-0 took a task, and
See some d4.
Pepsi has the problem of what do we? Uh, he has to change something up from last time as well. So instead of going e4 e5, yeah, he changes up the opening.
It's hard. It's hard. Catask isn't going to make many
Opening mistakes.
mistakes calculating, and if you give him a weakness, it's going to be over quick.
Yeah. And that's the thing, he knows his openings as well, so he's also just going to beat you theoretically if you play something just even slightly inaccurate. So I suspect this fianchetto system for black might not be the best. I'm not sure.
Pepsi's probably thinking about knight takes f7. Probably thinking knight takes f7, and if you get in an early
Yeah, I mean
pawn
this
at
looks.
h6,
I mean this
but
looks really good for white. I mean it looks
yeah,
like
it's one of those things where it looks good, sure,
yeah. I
but
mean, but
the
even
thing
a simple
is
move. What about like
white
knight at
sacks and black is able to defend it.
what about
Be
no? But
much
what about
better
something
though.
simple like knight at a5? What does black do? Knight at a5 and take on c6 seemed even that seemed good. But okay, this looks strong.
I think we might be.
I mean, basically
Maybe
when I was first
steps
looking at this
back.
game,
I
I
think
thought
Pepsi's
Catask.
going to play knight f7, and
Yeah, I've got some issues with my
think
screen.
uh, I think Katask is thinking if he steps back, if Pepsi plays knight at f7, about just taking e6 and just giving the queen, maybe. Oh, he's not going to do it. Okay.
I've got some real issues with my connection. It's sort of glitching a lot. So what actually happened? What do I do here? I've got a glitchy
Pepsi
screen.
sacked, and he seems to be winning, but yeah. See.
Okay, so back off. He takes the bishop. He hits the bishop again. Yeah, I've got... My internet is not coping.
I would think about maybe king over one. I think maybe king f8 here.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
So you think king f8,
This is
then
going to be uncomfortable
knight f7.
for.
Okay, he takes it.
Yeah, it's just that the bishop on. He's going to take the bishop on g7, and white is going to have
Long.
these chronic weaknesses in the
Yes.
dark squares and on some of the white squares too.
Yeah. You have to keep the action on the king. So I was just thinking, like a move like knight
Oh, she's
c5
doing great this game.
wouldn't be good because bishop b4 takes c5. Yeah, so you just keep the action on the king. Yeah, he's doing wonderfully this game. Maybe just simply bishop at e5. Okay, even bishop at h6 looks strong as well. Bishop at e5 as well. Pick up a knight, but also target c7.
Sure, I like that idea about e5.
Oof, that can't.
Okay,
That can't.
a little bit of a counterattack here.
Yeah, instead of g3. Okay, instead of g3, this may seem crazy. What about knight f3? If knight takes knight, queen takes, and the idea is just to get a knight on e5, taking the queen at some point. But okay, maybe I'm being too optimistic. But okay, maybe that was bad as well. But I'm slightly worried about. He's going for knight takes h2. Hi there, Chuck Moulton in the Twitch chat, and thanks for the sub from last stream right at the end. I've got a glitchy screen. It's very sad. Why? So you can't really defend h2 very easily.
I think he's got to play rook over. This is um, I just somehow this just went bad for white in a couple moves. Oh, knight f3. Okay, he's gonna probably play bishop e4 probably.
Bishop b, bishop b5. You mean?
Now bishop e4.
Oh, bishop e4. Yeah.
Yeah, try to get rid of the knight on f3.
Yes.
But he's stepping back with the. Okay.
So he was afraid of this. Obviously, the fork at some point. Knight e5.
Yeah, I don't. Here. Well, what do we? Okay.
It's a complicated position and low time. He's just going in, but he has no blockers. That's his problem. Okay, nice resource. c4. Just the problem is at any time black can just double take on e5.
Yeah, that queen is doing a great job protecting black's king.
Okay, we're going to see knight takes bishop, I imagine. Okay, no. So he's trying to force the knight off. There's still knight takes
H2 is
h2.
still out there.
Yeah, h2 is always can be taken. Knight takes h2,
Yeah.
king e2. And the king can run though to d2, and king can run to the queen side, unfortunately.
You might be.
Eek.
Oof.
It's only 8 seconds on the clock. You don't want that.
Okay.
It's just you don't have enough time to calculate this. What's going on here? And what is this move?
Yeah, this is too unclear.
It's just
Ugh. It's well
yeah.
played by catask
He
there.
got
I
him.
thought for sure that he was going to lose that game.
Yeah. Well, great counterattacking. And confusing moves at the end, like knight at f3 and time pressure. Duvid says, don't let Katas do this to you, Pepsi. 3-0. Looks like. Okay, so we have an e4, e5, the old bishop
I'm
c4,
not sure.
bishop c5.
I'm not sure if Pepsi has a choice.
But hang on a second. Why did he go knight g5? When the bishop comes to c5, you're supposed to go bishop g5, aren't you? So already I think, well, so yeah, I'm thinking, what's Katask playing? He seems to be, maybe he's doing something offbeat. Well, he clearly knows what he's doing because the moves are coming instantly. So the
He could be
idea,
making it up. We wouldn't know.
yeah, that's true. Calculations are that fast. I mean, obviously he wants to get his queen to h5, and black doesn't have the desired bishop to go bishop g6, kicking the queen away and defending h7 at the same time.
I think he's going to take on f6.
Yep. Takes. Could even go queen h5. Queen h5 with a treble threat on f7 and also a threat on h7. The question is, can you cash in on f7 or not? No, knight at h6 would like defend everything, for example. And even h6, you'd have to cash in. Maybe that would be, yeah, that would be good.
Well, if
So
you go queen h5,
queen h5, knight h6 seems forced to block the threat and guard f7. Massive. If you didn't do that, the massive trade on f7 would favor white. So takes, queen takes, bishop takes, king takes, and white has the initiative at the end of the checks. So queen h5, knight h6, then what? Okay, he doesn't do that at all. Just goes straight in for the sack, and I guess the idea is knight at g5 at the end of the line. Okay, but if you don't take that knight,
right now, the big problem is white's threatening knight h6.
yeah, exactly.
The double check. Yeah.
Just now I'm getting feedback from you, which I wasn't earlier, by the way, if you changed anything in your setup.
No, I'm just using the Discord voice channel. I'm on mobile. I like to watch these on mobile.
Yeah, it was working perfectly just a second ago. Just now it suddenly started acting up. Okay, so I'm imagining knight takes h7 and bishop at g5, but threat, but I don't know. I'm hearing myself from you for some reason, which I wasn't earlier.
Well, the Discord voice channel is I have my phone on speaker, so I'm not sure if that's has anything to do with it. I don't know enough about these setups.
So I'm predicting, does rook f7 do anything? That's the problem. Not really. I don't understand why he didn't take on h7. Seemed good. But maybe, yeah, I can see why he didn't. Maybe he's worried about queen takes g2 ideas. No, but you can block. Yeah, maybe that. No, that's not true. Okay, this looks good. I mean, he's blocked up his rook, but gained more control, kicking the queen off the g file. So he's saying, I want a bishop. So why do you want a bishop? He really wants a bishop. He is happy to give up queen takes knight, for example. And he's down to under 10 seconds, catask. Okay. Chances here. For under 5 seconds. Yeah, catask is struggling. I don't think that bishop could even be taken, because bishop h2 would be too nasty. Or would it? I mean... Yes, that's a really strong move. Hitting the rook. So can you... That seems to work. Okay, there might be mating ideas here at h2. No, they're not, because g4 is well covered. But now, after this bishop is... Yeah. So he's going to take the queen, but still g4 is so well covered. So much material Pepsi has. It's just how to break through. It's a wall of pawns. Oh my goodness. This is insane. Like, it's just a case of how to break through this double wall.
This looks like horde.
I know, exactly. I'm sure black's better. It's just defending this is not going to be easy.
There was probably a point where black should have counterattacked.
I think that
white
there still
get
is.
away with too much here.
I think there still is a point he should counterattack. The point is, black resigns. Oh, that's sad.
Wow.
Oh no. Oh no. CR7 Fanatic was predicting Pepsi would win that, and Abos was saying pawns too powerful, question mark. And then realizing, in the end, white managed to win. That was a tough game. Maybe that one should go into the highlights reel.
Yeah.
So just to back up, Pepsi is back trying e4, bishop e7 line, sort of Scotch type. So he's really switching up the openings every game. And to be honest, white, okay, has an open king, but if there's no mate, then
It looks unclear. That's really it.
yeah. I mean, a lot of the squares are covered. Oh, okay, knight 8. So h4 is, yeah. h4 and e3. Okay, e3 is weak. Knight e3 picks up queen is the problem. When did that happen? Yeah, after bishop takes pawn, knight e3 picks up queen is the problem. And he's still left it hanging open. Eek. Okay, yeah. Two knights is not going to mate. Notice how the knight checking squares are covered. One by the bishop, the other one by the knight. You'd have to get in on the dark squares, but there'd be no time, I suspect. Like pawn at g5 here, maybe pawn at g5. Yeah, maybe pawn at g5. It's promising.
He might just take it and then take on
Yeah, he'd just take it.
take on d5 after.
But you want to build
No, I
towards
don't know
that.
about that. He's
Yeah, it's the wrong side of the board, yeah. Ouch. Okay, and it's a
should
resigner.
not have opened up that D file.
Yeah.
Opening up the D file was not a good choice.
Oh, hi there, Jeremy Durham. Crazyhouse. So, okay, super safe setup for Pepsi here. But, also fairly passive, and that queen is going to get pushed about a bit, I guess.
Yeah, white is going to have a nice space advantage and control over the center.
PepsiNGaming saying bishop at g4 monkers. So what happens if bishop at g4? He's takes.
There'd be a bunch of trades, and white would have a knight on g4, and there'd be issues with d5 and knight at f6 maybe.
Yeah.
But the g6 move would be a little silly.
So again, I think Pepsi's still doing okay here. Kind of. I mean, d7's under control. Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah. That was the idea.
He still might just take it. He could take it, play knight at f6.
He could do.
I see queen takes knight. Bishop takes queen at f6.
Yeah, that's just mating, isn't it? That's just mating, straight up mating. Yep.
Maybe.
Jeremy Dunn says too passive from black. Tough game. It's all over. Exactly. I saw this knight comes in. I didn't quite see the mate, but yeah, queen here, king here, knight backs off, king takes knight, queen here, mate. Okay, there you go. So 6-0 for catask. Not sure if they'll play the full 10 games. I think that's it. They're happy. Catask is happy to get the job done and progress to round 5. So he's one game away from being in the candidates. And that's it. So thanks, Pawn in Training, for joining the commentary.
By both players.
Yeah. Maybe if we look at anything, maybe we should look at.
Sure.
I mean, if I look at anything, maybe was it game 4? Yeah, I think that's it basically. But if we do look at anything, it would be the trying to figure out if it was game 4 or game 5, where the pawns just. Yeah, it was game 4 in fact.
Pawns.
The pawns just kept rolling, and so technically in these CWC matches, you're not supposed to. I made this mistake myself. You're not supposed to press analysis until after the match is over, because otherwise the worry would be a player could sort of check their openings and stuff if people have pressed analysis. But okay, so black, as we suspected, black is totally winning, -15, but it's just very difficult to find a breakthrough. So the question is, what does black do wrong? I mean, so even -22 after c3. So what's the right continuation? I'm going to turn engine on. So I was thinking of h2, g4, these sorts of ideas, But with 3 knights, the idea is knight at g5. And yeah, white's got no pieces in hand, so maybe you go something like bishop g4. What's the breakthrough? Okay, knight at g5 and then knight at f3. Okay, yeah, so you just pile into f3 and that would soon be mate. Because if ever g takes f3, knight takes h3 would be one idea. So if you grab this knight, then there's still knight takes h3, and I'd have thought you take on h3, but apparently king h2 is even stronger. Knight takes f2. Knight takes f2, check. You have to block it in some way, because if you move the king, rook at h1 is surely mating you. King takes f2, bishop e3 defended by the... So you try and block it. At either h3 or here. So there's no easy mate, but it was a very kind of slow work. So basically, I think the thing to notice here is white had a lot of presence on the light squares. The queen and bishop both defending g4, the bishop defending g4, but not so much on the dark squares. So you have to sort of... So after this move, well, this is pressuring h3, which is the weak light square, but the point is to then just create a little bit of a weakness so you can then hit upon the dark squares, I think. So if this, if pawn takes, just queen takes, and you're sort of in. Actually, it's not so clear why this is completely winning. So pawn takes, queen takes. So you obviously rook at h1 is a mate threat. At h2 is something hard to defend. But why can't? Yeah, I see. You can't block because then g2 is also weak. So all you can do is throw checks. Okay, so that's why that just doesn't work at all. So that's why king h2, and then he has to start hitting on dark squares and stuff like at h4, at f4. So knight takes f2 and then hit on dark squares. Okay, so kind of hard to see. What are people saying in the chat? Who will catask play in round 5? That is a very good question. So I'm going to look it up. It's not certain yet, obviously, but it's sort of predicted. So it seems my internet's very slow on my browser, so I'm going to look it up on my mobile. And see who he plays. So he will play the winner of Antic against the winner of Zek and Pawn in Training, who's with me in the voice chat. So what are you thinking about your chances against Zek, Pawn in Training? Because if you can get past Zek, then you get Antic, whom again might give you chances in.
I'm just one opponent at a time. That's really it. I've got a 2,500 rated player in front of me. That's
So it's going to be Zek or
really
Antic
it, you know,
or Pawn in Training here who will play catask in round 5. And just to give you a kind of visualization of the whole thing, there are 256 players who started this thing. Because it's a double elimination, the way to basically reach the candidates, ideally, is just to win 5 straight games. If you lose in round 5, you have to win 2 games for every loss, basically. So if you lose in round 5, you need to win twice in the elimination bracket to reach the candidates. If you lose in round 4, you have to win 4 times. If you lose in round 3, you have to win 6 times. If you lose in round 2, you have to win 8 times. And if you lose in round 1, you have to win 10 times to catch up.
oof.
So every so if you can get as far as you can without losing, that really helps. So I'll just play through this here. Now, do you put pawn at g3 or do you save that up for a knight? Apparently you don't go bishop at g3. Pawn at g3 is also fine. Pawn at g3 is fine. And the point is if king g1, pawn takes rook, and if king down, then rook at h2. Rook at h2, king g1. Oh, yeah, I haven't done the rook at h2 move yet. Rook at h2, king g1, and you don't have another rook for h1, so you take here, and you could go knight takes f2, covering this. You don't want to go here because I was just pawn g3, rook h2, so you have to go knight takes. And now, where's the mate? Just taking off that knight, I guess, and now the rook is protected. So if king f1, rook at g1, king takes f2, rook takes g2, king here, this is not going to end well. I'll just play that out. Rook here, king here, here, and what if he tries to go here? Well, there's nowhere else to go. This whole diagonal is cut, so any check will basically win. So he takes this bishop is probably a little bit better, but okay, now we control everything. So we can just think of it as a back rank mate. Bishop at e3, pushing you back onto the back rank. If you come up, then queen here would be checkmate. If you come up here, then queen here would be checkmate. So you're forced onto the back rank, and now pawn here and rook here is checkmate, back rank mate. So that was the way of breaking in. It involved knight at g5 and then hitting on the dark square somehow. Was there any way of hitting on the dark squares more directly, like at f4 immediately? And the answer is no. Already, this is too slow. So c takes d4 here. This is already good for white. So it actually required very, very precise play because knight at g8 was already a threat. Picking up a knight was actually a real big threat in the position. So that's why he hid his knight in the actual game. So he kept his advantage a bit, but then at d6 turned out to be a mistake. He had his knight g5 was a key idea. Knight g5, that was the move he missed. Or here, queen f6, trying to hold it together. But yeah, knight at g5 was the key idea for several moves. And not finding that way of breaking in, he ended up losing the game. So that was a kind of interesting game. Kind of interesting finish with all those pawns. I'm going to put that as in the highlights reel. Okay. And GMBW says, I guess Catask and Jan are big favourites to make the candidates. For sure. I mean, they're big favourites to win the candidates, but they can't both win. So, okay, so thanks everyone for listening in, for tuning in. Thanks Pawn in Training. Good luck against Zek. Go for it.
Thank you. I'll need it.
Yeah. Bye everyone.